Welcome back. Before we talk about commodities, let's get in first. Samir Shah, he's MD NCDX, and he joins us on the show. Samir, hi, welcome so much to NCDX and to on the show as well. First of all, as you take over the exchange, which has been some time now, what are the things that are top on the list that you would want to do to start working?
Firstly, thanks, Manisha. It's a pleasure to be here. Few things are on my mind. As I think about the next, this year as well as the next couple of years for the exchange and for the market. I think the first one is how do we deepen the market and how do we increase participation in the market? I mean, that's our biggest priority. We need to make these markets extremely liquid and extremely big. The opportunity is extremely large. So that's really sort of right at the top of my list in terms of deepening and widening the participation in commodity markets and more specifically agri markets. The second is how do we make it easier for people to participate in these markets? And these are two different things. The first and the second thing is quite different. How do we look at each customer segment? How do we look at the hedgers? How do we look at short-term traders? How do we look at the farmers? How do we look at different segments of the market and make it really easy for them to participate in commodity markets? So that's the second key theme or the key priority as far as we are concerned. And the third is to improve and constantly upgrade the support services like the warehousing ecosystem that we have developed over the last 10 years. Look at the bank financing associated with commodities, the dematerialization of commodities. So this whole space of support services that are so integral to developing a market holistically, that's really the third priority. So these are the top three things on my mind, Manisha.
Samir, there's lots on your plate, obviously, but looking at the agriculture trading scenario, and especially with the monsoons also kicking in, which is an important factor, how are you viewing the trade and volumes, participation, all of that?
I think that's a very timely question. We've had a good, encouraging early start to the monsoons, so that's obviously very welcome. What we've seen over the last, especially this year, is there has been a slight softening of prices, commodity prices this year, and that has had an impact on volumes. Volatility has been relatively less as compared to this time last year. So the time leading up to now has been a bit subdued for markets, as you would see reflected in our volume numbers. But we see an opportunity for steady growth in volumes going forward. And just give you 3-4 key, interesting things that are happening as far as trading patterns are concerned. The relaunch of Guar contract is a very welcome step. We welcome that. Farmers have been asking for relaunch of Guar for a while. So we think that is going to be one of the key things going forward. One of our unique innovations that we've done is in the maize Rabi contract. So we've got a very innovative thing going on there, and that's reflected in the volume. So we see maize being a key theme going forward, which will help all the sort of the cattle feed, poultry industry. Sugar, partial decontrol in the sugar industry is going to put the spotlight on sugar significantly. Refined soy oil continues to be a flagship contract, and it integrates the whole value chain and allows them efficient price discovery and good risk management. So we see, in summary, a good steady growth driven largely by these 4 commodities and contracts over the next 6 to 12 months.
Sure. Samir, while there are lots of positives and you pointed them as well, what's your sense or take on CTT really? And there has been this debate about the agri-foods and the agri-processed foods as well, which could be coming under that categorization. How have you read on that?
I think the CTT, it's best to wait for the notification of CTT and to see what the impact is. You talk to a variety of people. A lot of people have views and opinions about what its impact is likely to be. As far as we are concerned, by and large, we think it doesn't affect agri contracts. So there will be a small minor short-term benefit that there'll be some capital reallocation into the agri sector. So we see some minor benefit in the short term, but other than that, the real effect of CTT will be wait and watch. We just have to see how the market reacts to it and see how it shapes up after the notification is done.
Sure. Samir, with you at the helm, of course, we have been talking about the 4 major agro commodities that you are looking at, but are there any other plans to launch some other products on the exchange as well? I mean, or are you looking at really strengthening where we stand at this point in time?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a key aspect. I mean, though we are primarily agri-oriented right now, our focus is not only to remain agri-oriented, our focus is to remain price discovery-oriented. So we will look at opportunities where there is real price discovery of Indian-oriented commodities to be done, and we will constantly look at these segments. So over time, you will see us broadening our portfolio. Agri will continue to remain a focus, but we will continue to broaden our portfolio of products to facilitate real price discovery in India.
Before we let you go, Samir, one final question on FCRA. That's a question we ask everybody really, and that's something that these markets have been waiting for the longest time ever.
Yeah. We are eagerly waiting for FCRA. We think it will be a very good step for the markets. A robust regulatory environment for commodity markets is so key. It's extremely key. It will also allow some new innovation in contracts like index products and options, obviously. So we welcome FCRA, and we are looking forward to implementation of FCRA in India.
All right. With that, we'll let you go, Samir. Thank you so much for coming by, spending your time with us, and talking about all of those things that you intend doing with NCDX now.
Thank you, Manisha.
With that, let's take a look at the commodity.